that. Hold on a second. You started talking, and I'm like, we got to press record because that's gold. So I am here. Yeah, world champion. That's all great. Trent Hidlay, amazing commentator. You can't even agree with me, can you?
We'll see what I got today.
Well, you really did an incredible job at the national duels, and I was so impressed with not just the speed and eloquence in which you spoke, but your ability to convey your passion for the sport when talking about other people. Mm-hmm. That's hard to do sometimes.
Yeah.
But you did mention that it's easier when the matches are great.
Yeah.
You know, when it's less competitive, sometimes it can be a bit of a drain.
Sure.
So as you start getting into this, what are you looking forward to today? Because some of the matches won't be competitive.
Yeah. Well, what I love about today is that it's in and out, right? These guys weigh in. You've got 2 duels. You may get 2 matches. Some guys, maybe you get 1 if you're competing for the spot. Some guys might get thrown in there, but it's not like you weigh in the morning, you're sitting in a gym, you're back to the hotel, you're back for another match, and you're back and you're weighing in tomorrow. You weigh in, you get big, you feel good, and that should give us, I think that'll provide us the guys' best wrestling. So even if it's a mismatch in terms of a duel or a matchup, you still expect to see guys' best wrestling. And for me, when there's passion involved, like you said, when you see guys wrestling their hardest for their team, that's easy to commentate. You know,
Sure.
It's easy for me to put myself in their shoes and remember, you know, you're wrestling in a duel in a high school. It's not your usual home duel meet, 7 p.m., you know, big crowd in there, but it's for the passion of it. You know, You're going to see the guys that show up today in a duel meet like today. For me, when you can show up for things like this at your best, you can show up for anything, anytime. You know, whether it's a conference tournament or NCAAs, you got to be able to bring your stuff in duel meets like this if you want to be able to bring it all the time.
Absolutely. Let's talk about one of the matchups. 74 for me, Rutgers, NC State, should really be interesting.
Yeah.
You're as close to an assistant coach now as you can get, especially with Jack leaving. What am I looking for in that matchup? Because it's Pinto, Singleton. Singleton is as talented as it gets. Mm-hmm. Pinto's, you know, he has some up and downs, but when he's on, he's right up there with the best in the country. Yeah. What should we expect today with Singleton? Explosiveness.
Both guys very explosive. Both guys really good upper body. Mm-hmm. I think if we could get into that would be awesome. Singleton has a Greco background. Pinto is good upper body just because he is very explosive. He's good at getting to doubles and going up big. Both guys good at scrambling. I think Pinto maybe a little bit more on like the wild side of it, and not afraid to kind of throw, you know, with the fire to the wind or caution to the wind. Caution to the wind. But it's going to be a fun match because I think both guys are always willing to lay it on the line, especially like that first 15, 30 seconds. It's not going to be, hey, let's get to a finger tie, collar tie, and feel it out. It's, let me see if I can put my forehead through this guy's chest and go feet to back. And both guys do that. So it's like 2 Rams going after each other. What, in my opinion, where I'll be interested to see this mat go down is the mat. Singleton's very good on top, especially with legs. Pinto, when he's fresh and he's controlling the pace of things, he's very good. If he starts getting winded a little bit on bottom, you can't be tired on bottom against Singleton because he's really good with legs. So I'm expecting explosiveness. I'm expecting, too, with that being the best matchup, that both guys are going to go out there and put it on the line.
I hope so. You know, sometimes earlier in the season you see guys but these two, to me, you're right, have the pedigree and the fortitude to make it a really interesting matchup. All right, let's switch gears to
what, the Johnny Cash playing in the background?
Hazard.
That's Johnny Cash, right?
It's Johnny Cash. Yeah. You got to let it go. It's Johnny Cash. All right, Hazard be damned. Let's talk about your coaching / competing, man, in 2025, 2026, it is really difficult to take on an NCAA coaching job and compete full time for a world title. You know, a long time ago, it was more common because it was, if we're going to be completely honest, you had to. You didn't have a choice. Right? But it's really hard to do that now.
Sure.
And I think you're starting to see that. And so tell me what it's been like over the last month as we gear towards you moving in the direction of coaching.
It's been hard. It's exhausting, but I love it too. There's something just special about being in college wrestling, especially with the program that you graduated from. I have so much passion for NC State and the guys in the team I'm very close with that it's really easy for me to get in there and help them even when I'm feeling tired or I don't want to. But the focus for me is still on just training and competing. Luckily, this time of the year is a little bit lighter for me in terms of competing because once I hit January, it's full go. So, December is still kind of a little bit lighter. I'm still training. I always train. But it gives me a little bit more time to help these guys, get them set up as they get through the season. And then, when they hit January, February, into March, it's full go for them. But I'm kind of like an auxiliary role. I didn't say that right, but kind of just help when I can, whatever side of things I can. Try to get some experience on my end too with fundraising and recruiting. We were talking recruiting. It is. It's humbling, I think. It's very hard, especially when you don't have a ton of time to put into it. But just trying my best to help out any ways I can while still getting in quality work that I need. Yeah,
it's hard. You got a world title and none of those kids care.
They don't give a shit about you.
It's great. And then even on the fundraising side of things, it's been my experience, most donors and supporters of the program don't care about your world title either.
No.
They care about NC State wrestling.
Yeah.
And so it's good to learn that stuff early,
sure.
Yes?
That's one of the struggles. There's a lot of connection to college programs, and I get that. Like, I'm not too naive to think that, that's where the money, that's where the energy is going into. It is a unique challenge for me to kind of look at the Wolfpack RTC as a whole, and for me to say, how can I get funding to make it easier for me? How can I make it better as a program to help elevate NC State at the same time?
Sure.
But yeah, you're right. It's people want to see the school do well, and I get that. But at the same time, trying to get people to understand that if our RTC is really good, it's going to help our program a lot. And we're in a situation where you probably can't go super big into both. But if you can have a good blend of the college side of things with fundraising and have a solid RTC, I think that's the best.
Yeah,
best way to go.
Getting donors to understand that, like, look, if we land this RTC athlete, that helps our 87 or our 84 or our 97 or whatever.
Absolutely.
So talk to me a little bit about, you won one. Mm-hmm. Now you got to repeat.
Yeah.
How much thought do you put into that?
Not too much in terms of repeating or what that looks like. I think there was a little bit of time where you have to look at yourself in the mirror and realize that, what you did was awesome. You achieved a lifelong goal, and now you have to reset yourself. Mm-hmm. And I think I did a good job of that, of kind of just throwing myself right back into the fire and challenging myself in unique ways. Maybe it wasn't always in a wrestling sense. But getting back to, what has made me good is challenging myself and not being afraid to compete. And I think, I took a little bit of time off, but then it's like, man, you can't just ride this one out forever. I want to get back to it. I want to do more. I know I have more left to give, and I know I can get a lot better too. And the end goal is still LA 2028. So you just look at, what did I do in 2025? Well, let's build on from it. So let's take our time. I just have a lot of trust in the coaches that I'm working with right now. Like, Jamil has been there. He's done it. Zach Esposito has been through it a lot. Gwiz is in the room with me all the time. So I'm getting a lot of good advice from these guys that have made world teams, placed in the world championships, made it to the Olympics, placed in the Olympics. I have a lot of good mentors that are guiding me in the right direction. They know I'm a little crazy in the head, so they know like when to pull me back, but they also realize it's good for me to let loose and wrestle a little bit more than just Final X. You know, I want to compete. I want to continue challenging myself because I think I get better as I compete, and it gives me something to train for. So, you know, right now the focus really isn't on like repeat or anything. It's just what did I do this past year to make the team? That's where I'm going back to. The training that I did, the mindset I had, putting myself back in those shoes and realizing that you've got to do a lot to make a world team. Regardless if you're sitting in Final X or not, it's hard, so you got to do the work to do it.
Yeah, you know, it's funny to me that like
I don't think people realize how hard it is to make a world team.
You're probably right about 50% of the population. I'd agree with that. But what's crazier to me is once guys are in your position where they do have a spot secured at Final X, they forget that the reason that they did so well the year before was because of the competition schedule, the way that they trained, and they just lose that. Oh, well, I'll just compete at Final X. Well, okay, I mean, I guess you can.
Yeah.
But you're throwing a lot of eggs into one basket there.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I think you need matches. You need matches because it shapes the way that you train, right? It's one thing to be training and do practice matches, but to get the actual reps in competition, even if it's not against great competitions, it's really important. Like for me, I didn't love the way I wrestled at the U.S. Open. I just wasn't, I didn't feel that comfortable. I was able to win it, which was huge. But then I did Pan Ams, and Pan Ams, I treated it like it was the World Championships, and I left Pan Ams like with my hair on fire. I was like, nothing's getting in my way, you know. So those 3 matches against maybe lesser competition were huge for me. And if I wouldn't have had that, it's hard to replicate a real tournament feel, regardless of what it's like. So I think you have to compete.
Absolutely. Forget about the mindset, the training, the travel, right?
Travel.
Like you can't duplicate time zones, and you
Sure.
can't, you know, I mean, I guess you can, but it's not the same thing.
Right, exactly.
You know? But yeah, congratulations on all your success, and I look forward to hearing you on the stick tonight, brother.
Can't wait. Let's get it.